Rolls-Royce should be worried. Not about Bentley, not about Maybach, about Toyota. Because look at this thing, look at that grille, tall, vertical, chrome fins standing like a gate in front of a palace. That is not a Land Cruiser face. That is not even a Lexus face. That is the kind of front end that costs $500,000 in Europe. And then your eyes move up and you see the badge. A Toyota badge. The same badge on a Corolla. The same badge on a Hilux carrying cement bags in the desert. Sitting on top of a grill that looks like it was stolen from Goodwood at midnight. And that is exactly why this machine is dangerous. Because this is the 2027 Toyota Grand Land Cruiser Century, and Toyota did not build it to compete with Cadillac or BMW. Toyota built it to ask one very uncomfortable question. What if the most reliable company on earth decided to build the most luxurious SUV on earth? But before I show you why the inside of this thing might be the most shocking part, do me a quick favor. Hit like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you are watching from, because I want to know which country gets this century first. Now let us get back to it. You are watching Classic Car Secrets, your trusted place for new car reveals, luxury, SUV, and pickup truck breakdowns, and first look reviews without the boring stuff. We skip the empty details. We look at what actually matters. So, the 2027 Toyota Grand Land Cruiser Century, and we start where everyone starts, that front end. This grille is a statement of war. Massive vertical chrome bars, running deep framed in gloss black, with a Toyota emblem standing upright on the hood, like a spirit of ecstasy that works overtime and never complains. The headlights are not even trying to be normal headlights. They are thin, vertical light blades stacked into the corners of the face, glowing white, making the whole front look taller, wider, and honestly a little intimidating. A normal Land Cruiser looks tough. This looks powerful. There is a difference. Tough means it can survive anything. Powerful means everything else moves out of the way first. And here is the strange part. It still looks like a Toyota. The proportions are honest, the stance is upright, the body is clean, black and heavy, with no fake vents, no crazy lines, no drama for the sake of drama. Toyota took the Land Cruiser's silhouette, the most trusted shape in the off-road world, and dressed it like a chairman. Compared to a Maybach GLS, this front is more upright and more serious. Compared to a Cadillac, it is less loud, but somehow more expensive looking. And compared to a Range Rover, it feels less like fashion and more like authority. But a strong face is easy. Every brand can build one strong angle. The real test is when you walk around it. So now the rear. And this is where the Century keeps its promise. From the back, this SUV looks wide, tall, and planted. The taillights are vertical, sharp, and stacked, echoing the front light blades, so the design language stays connected all the way around. The tailgate is clean, with a full-width chrome bar running across it, the Toyota badge in the center, and nothing else shouting for attention. The lower bumper is finished with a polished frame and hidden exhaust styling, keeping the rear elegant instead of sporty. And that restraint is the point. Cadillac makes the rear dramatic, BMW makes it aggressive. Toyota made it calm. Because when you are this big and this expensive looking, calm is the loudest thing you can be. The roof spoiler stretches over the rear glass, the black paint swallows the light, and the whole back end says the same thing the front says. This is not a family Land Cruiser anymore. This is a flagship. But now we open the doors, and I need you to prepare yourself. Because this interior is where the Century stops competing with SUVs and starts competing with private jets, burgundy and cream. That is the color story, and it is perfect. Deep burgundy leather on the dashboard top, the door uppers, and the lower panels. Soft cream leather on the seats, the steering wheel, the center console. Two tones, mirror balanced, warm, and rich like a vintage Century sedan pulled into the future. The steering wheel is wrapped in cream leather with a Century Phoenix emblem sitting in the middle. Not a Toyota badge, a phoenix. That is Toyota telling you this trim level has its own identity, its own history, its own throne. Behind that wheel, one massive display runs pillar to pillar. The gauge cluster and the center screen flow together as one continuous glass panel, curved gently toward the driver, floating above a dashboard trimmed in lightwood with Land Cruiser Century script engraved into it. The center console carries polished metal dials, a crystal style shifter, and open-pore wood that looks hand-finished. It is modern, but it is not cold. And that balance is the hardest thing in car design right now. Everyone can add screens. Almost nobody can add screens and still make the cabin feel human. But the front cabin is only the introduction. The rear cabin is the reason this vehicle exists. Open the rear door, and it is a lounge. 2 individual captain seats, diamond quilted cream leather with burgundy bolsters, phoenix embroidered pillows on the headrests, and recline angles that belong in first class, not in an SUV. Fold-out wooden tables rise from the center console. Crystal glasses sit in a chilled compartment between the seats. Real curtains, not sunshades curtains, frame every window. A lambswool carpet covers the floor, like the softest thing your shoes will ever apologize for stepping on. Each seat gets its own screen. Each passenger gets their own climate controls. A starlight headliner glows above a panoramic roof, and the whole cabin sits in silence, because the Century treatment means double glass windows and sound insulation tuned for one purpose, making the outside world optional. This is not comfort. This is territory. The Maybach GLS made the rear seat famous. The Century is here to take it. Now the driving side, because a flagship cannot only be a living room. Underneath, this is still a Land Cruiser, and that changes everything. Full ladder frame strength, real 4-wheel drive hardware, adaptive air suspension that raises the body for rough ground and drops it low on the highway, and a hybrid V8 level powertrain, strong electric assistance filling in the torque, so the acceleration feels effortless and the fuel use stays surprisingly controlled for something this size. That combination is the Century's secret weapon. A Maybach is luxurious but delicate. A Range Rover is beautiful but famous for electrical headaches. This is the only vehicle in the segment where the luxury sits on top of the most proven mechanical platform in the world. The same bones that cross deserts in the Middle East and outback trails in Australia, now carrying curtains and crystal. Reliability is a luxury feature. Toyota is the only brand that can sell it, and ownership tells the same story. Servicing through Toyota means costs and availability no German rival can touch. Resale value on Land Cruisers is legendary, and a limited Century flagship could hold value even harder. Insurance and tires will be premium. No way around that at this size. But the total ownership picture here embarrasses vehicles that cost far more to keep than to admire. So where does it land against the rivals? Against the Maybach GLS, the Century gives up some rear seat theater, but wins on trust and presence. Against the Cadillac Escalade, it is quieter outside and richer inside. Against the Range Rover, it is the version that never leaves you stranded. And against the Lexus LX, its own cousin, the Century simply sits one full floor above. But here is my honest reservation. The badge. Some buyers at this level want the world to know what they paid. A Toyota emblem does not brag. So the question becomes philosophical. Is true luxury being seen, or is it needing nothing to be seen? Because I think Toyota just built the quietest flex in the entire automotive world. A Rolls-Royce face, a first-class cabin, and the one badge on earth that never breaks its promises. So now I want your opinion. Is the 2027 Toyota Grand Land Cruiser Century the smartest ultra-luxury SUV ever made? Or does a flagship like this need a badge with more ego? And would you take this over a Maybach GLS, a Cadillac Escalade, or a Range Rover? Comment below, because I really want to discuss this one with you.